So now, let me show you how the close range technique works. So what the close range technique is it's basically a fancy activated visualization. If you have trouble making the release fire, or if you have trouble putting the pin in the middle, you pull the target so close and make it so big that you can't get it wrong. Then you can desensitize yourself from being anxious when the pin is in the yellow. The pin being in the yellow is just part of shooting the bow rather than the end of the shot. Everybody knows what I'm talking about there, right? So you desensitize yourself by aiming at a target up close. You'll figure out that aiming is not a step. Aiming is a side effect of good form. We all treat aiming like a step, don't we? Draw the bow back, we put the pin in the middle, and we pause everything and get very still, and we get the pin in the middle, then we look at the release and start trying to make the release work, right? If aiming is a step, you're not shooting the bow, you're aiming the bow. I can set the bow in the floor and orient that so that the pin is sitting dead center in the target. That's not going to get me a 10. You have to actually shoot the bow to get a 10. So what I tell people to do is to visualize letting the bow go, not visualize getting the bow still. When you're in that shoot-off situation and you're like, this is it, I got to hit this one, visualize the follow-through rather than getting it still and the moment of release. That will get what you want, right? Aiming is not a step. If you have good, clean form, the bow will be still. If you have good, clean form, you'll have great pressure built up between your hands, the bow, and the release. When that pressure reaches a certain point of alignment, the release fires. So imagine this. Your pressure makes the bow still and fires the release. The pressure settles everything down and centers it on what you're looking at. And then at the right moment, the release lets go without you looking at it. How cool would that be, right? I've had one kid in the last several years come to that conclusion all on his own. He went to nationals last year. Was it last year when we went to nationals with Blaze and Roy? I think it was last year. Blaze comes to me, he goes, I said, how'd it go? Oh, I missed my first arrow, but I shot 59 X's inside out. Woo, how'd you do that? He says, you know, I don't really know. I like realized this thing. You don't actually have to think about the release to make it fire. If I just stand there looking at the sight and keeping everything strong, the release just works. He said, I just stopped thinking about the release and it just started going in. And he had a nickel-sized group in every single one of his targets. The most amazing thing I've ever seen. And he was like, you don't actually have to think about the release. I was like, thank you, you're now my favorite. Right? So he like figured it out.